Love those guys. Perennially underrated. We do a metal show here on The Buzzard. Me and Corey Roddick and Pat Butler. We put our giant heads together on Saturday night. It's called 2 Hours to Midnight. It's a metal show, nothing but, for 120 minutes. And no Cavs game Saturday to postpone our festivities. So if you're into metal, join us on Saturday night. Play requests, play local stuff, play brand new stuff. Very excited to do it for you. Next week on the show, I will have tickets for you if you want to get to that Avenged Sevenfold show. Their tour is going to bring them to Cleveland in March. It's not that far off, March 9th. They're playing the Romo Fijo with Poppy and Sullivan King. That's a wild lineup. You'll also get a signed set list, courtesy of Warner Records. I'll have Cavs tickets for you if you're into the band Set It Off. They're doing the House of Blues end of March. I'll put you at that show. And if you prefer to go back a little further, Queensryche and Armored Saint are doing a show mid-April at the House of Blues. So tickets for all those next week on the program. I was reading a story about how the Ohio medical marijuana situation is in flux. The State Medical Board of Ohio is looking at studying how medical marijuana can help with a variety of situations.
Can these nerds just let people smoke weed?
Well, this isn't normally ever since the voters of Ohio opted to make weed recreationally legal. Most of the stories around marijuana in Ohio lately have been how the state house can figure out how to screw with people's vote. These articles are about, hey, let's see, maybe this would have some efficacy with X, Y, and Z, including whether it could help patients with autism and female orgasmic difficulty disorder, or FADD. So they're going to be...
right, Alan?
Hey-oh! Female orgasm, what's that? I never heard of it before. So there you go. If Ben Shapiro starts smoking weed, you'll know what's up. But they're going to be, the Ohio State Medical Board is looking at a variety of conditions and whether or not marijuana would be beneficial for them. Everything from cancer to Tourette's. I don't think the jury is still out on some of these things, right? I think they're like, yeah, we've determined over the course of a couple of decades that marijuana, properly prescribed, helps a lot of conditions. 3 physicians on the medical board who sit on the medical marijuana committee are taking female orgasm difficulty disorder very seriously. Some of the research on it goes back to the early 1970s. I don't know why you gals can't just loosen up.
Never thought of that.
Have fun. It affects up to 41% of women worldwide. That's up to 41, so it could be 8%. But boy, can you imagine? Now, we as men simply cannot imagine women who have never had an orgasm. I mean, we can have them on demand. Some women can't have them because they're on medication.
Oh, no.
I would never presume to understand what goes on there. But I'm just saying psychologically, think about that. I remember dating a girl in college who said she had never had one. I'm like, not even with yourself? And she's like, nope.
And I still won't.
I said, well, it ain't going to get any better with me, baby. No, I was at the beginning of my sexual awakening, so I was ready and willing to do everything and anything it took. And I maintain that level of enthusiasm to this very day.
An orgasm is addicting, bro. Like, it's just like when you try meth for the first time or like heroin, they say, you know, the high is never as good as the very first time. I don't think it's as good as the very
They
first
never
time.
get bad. They never get bad.
But it's
the
not,
high.
I didn't say it's
Hey, man,
bad.
meth ain't that bad.
I didn't say it was bad. It's just not as good. It's not as orgasmic as the very first
It
time.
feels
You-
great
wait,
to
you're
me
saying-
every single time.
You're saying you haven't had an orgasm as good as the first one you ever had?
Yeah.
Well, that was just because it was a novelty.
That's
I'd
what
be
I'm
willing.
saying. I don't-
Yeah, but it doesn't feel worse. It just you weren't used to them then.
I've definitely had some that
I'm
I've
like,
been
I
like,
can't-
well, that's a top 5.
I'm like, I can't feel my legs. I can't feel my leg for like 5 seconds. I'm a faint.
That's just bad circulation. Like, that's not.
Mhm. You might be pre-diabetic.
Maybe.
Yeah. So that's good news, I guess, for proponents of studying marijuana to see what it could be used to treat. Of course, recreational marijuana now, not so you'd really notice it, but it is now legal in Ohio for anybody 21 and older. They just have to figure out how that's, I guess, going to look, how that's going to, what that framework is going to be. But people are lining up to take your money for weed. Oh, and Snoop Dogg, listen, weed-centric, weed-oriented, weed-adjacent. This story about him suing, I didn't realize there was a Snoop cereal. We probably talked about it, and I just don't remember. But Master P, remember Master P? Was he Lil Romeo's dad?
Yes, he is.
Master P, remember him?
Percy Miller.
Percy. You don't meet a lot of Percys
Percy.
anymore, do you?
Nope.
I wonder why that is. Anyway, Master P and Snoop. I mean, you don't meet a lot of Calvins for that matter either. But these guys have a cereal company, Broadus Foods. Of course, Snoop's name is Calvin Broadus. And Broadus Foods. And they make cereals. And they signed this big deal with Walmart. And it was going to get distributed through Post, which obviously, huge breakfast cereal company, right? You got your Post cereals. You got your General Mills cereals. What are the other big cereal companies? So it's like Kellogg's is who I'm thinking of. And
Yeah, they're up there.
yeah,
I put them on the
for a
list.
guy that lived in Southwest Michigan for a few years, like and whose children grew up in Battle Creek, Michigan. I can't believe I couldn't remember Kellogg, but there it is. And whose ex-mother-in-law used to be a executive with Kellogg. Anywho, that was a long time ago. Currently, Snoop.
Well, my dad's a pretty big wheel down at the cracker factory.
Snoop Dogg and Master P are suing Walmart, and they're suing Post, saying that there was all kinds of corporate chicanery behind the scenes to torpedo their cereal. They're like, look, we're trying. This is part of a broader effort to get food to communities that might otherwise be underserved. And what they're saying is that Post wanted to buy their company completely. And they said, we don't want to do that. We didn't form this company to sell it. We're trying to build something here. And so they said, no, we want to keep control of our company, but we're going to enter into like a distribution agreement. This happens all the time. It's nothing weird.
This is the same. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And they're suing now because they said that because they wouldn't sell their whole company, that Post is torpedoing their cereal line, telling Walmarts to not stock it on the shelves, keep it back in the stock room, or to hike the price up, which goes, obviously, their whole point is to provide food for, economically disadvantaged communities. That's the whole point of Walmart, by the way. And so they're suing over their cereal. I'm most upset at the lack of puns I've seen associated with this story. I never met a pun I didn't like. And I've seen none. I didn't see Serial Eruption. Didn't you have that song?
Cereal
Eruption.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see Hey Kids Smoke This Bowl.
Ah.
I haven't seen anything. Anyway, snoopcereal.com. If you want to look into it, you can still buy them online. You can buy them at other places. There's Fruity Hoops with marshmallows. There's Frosted Drizzlers. And there's Cinnamon Toasties. They are available at Target. They are available online. But they are suing Walmart. The Cocoa Crazies are going to be out soon. The Iced Crunchies. A lot of Z's in these. But,
Oh, yeah, faux shiz.
oh, yeah. So they're going to go to court over that whole thing.
Yeah, faux shiz.
There you go. Fiber was the case that they gave me. I got money here for you. It is $1,000. It's courtesy of the Buzzard bookie. The last couple days to win. So I hope that you do. Good luck.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Bills. That's Bills. Enter it now at WMMS.com.
Oh. It's my mistake. People were blowing me up this morning, accusing me of, not accusing me, but of the opposite of the AC bump. They were like, oh my God, Alan, no sooner did you mention Sean Evans, the Hot Ones guy, dating the porn star, he broke up with her on Valentine's Day.
Over the phone.
Over the phone. Because he was dating a woman named Melissa Stratton, who I was not familiar with. I Googled some of her work, and not my type, but to his credit, she seemed enthusiastic. And they attended several public events at the Super Bowl together. There were photos of them, and apparently he broke up with her because he was worried that the relationship had gotten too public. Now, I think this story is 0% true, that he dumped her over the phone. You don't take a porn star to the Super Bowl if you're trying to keep things on the DL. Mm-hmm. There's photos of them. They're not...
It's the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl, and yeah, these aren't photos that were taken of them like getting into an Uber on the street. It wasn't TMZ chasing them. Evans broke up with her because he felt that their relationship had gotten too public. He wants to keep his love life more under wraps. So again, I don't believe any of this. I think he's like, hey, let's reset this. Let's pretend we split up. Let's be. You think that guy, if you're familiar with Hot Ones, you know what the Hot Ones guy looks like. All due respect to him. You think the Hot Ones guy is going to date and then dump a porn star?
Yeah.
No.
No, absolutely he would.
Why?
Because he's
either
incredibly successful.
I think his team said, yo, bro, this might be a bad look. So either it didn't happen. I'm inclined to think that this isn't true at all.
No, I think he's like, yeah, this doesn't seem...
But he knew he was cool enough to date her. He knows what she does for a living.
Right, but he doesn't want to be out there dating a porn star after all.
Why'd he take her to the Super Bowl?
Because he's like, yeah, I'm going to go. It's going to be fun. And then it gets out there, it becomes a story. He goes, this isn't what I thought it was. I don't like it.
I don't buy it.
Me either.
I mean, there's no way. First of all, any porn star, and you see this a lot. You'll see documentaries about porn stars. The only time they're ever dating hot guys is when they're dating another guy who does porn. When they're dating civilians or married to civilians, they're always these chinless dopes because those are the only guys who will put up with them. So when people go, oh my God, how did he get her? Because he puts up with all of it. That's how.
He's okay with his lady.
He's okay getting railed by dudes that, if this guy started getting some gains, he'd look like a porn star. He's got the shaved head. He's got the stubble, the whole bit. Maybe it's true. What the hell do I know? But I think if you're dating a girl who does porn and you're cool with it and you're taking her to the Super Bowl, I don't know at what point you go, hey, I didn't want anybody paying attention to us. I didn't know this was going to be public. I think somebody in his organization was like, hey, we might not be able to get Russell Crowe or Carey Mulligan for Hot Ones.
If you're dating porn stars.
Dating porn stars. The guy does a show called Hot Ones, but the spotlight was too blazing. Couldn't handle the hot lights of Hollywood. That's what they're trying to get us to believe. For once, Poundcake and I are in complete agreement.
Yeah.
I concur. I think it's all made up.
I think you're just, you have to overlook a lot of things. Like wrestlers and UFC fighters and boxers and stuff have porn star girlfriends because they're okay. It's good for their image. It's cool. And I could see a porn star being ready to retire, and that's the only guy that she bangs. But if she just has like some average Joe guy, even an average Joe with like millions of dollars, in the grand scheme of things, this girl has banged CEOs with like private jets and done all the stuff. He has to be okay with all of that, and he might be getting cucked. Like he might be something like that.
Well, listen, Bill's right. The guy's very successful. Like, he's got his own thing going on. A lot of times these porn stars end up with guys that don't really have anything going on.
But it's not a lack of her meeting guys that aren't successful. I think a lot of people, who doesn't want to date a porn star? Like, especially the higher up you are, the richer you are, the more exposed to that lifestyle you are.
About 5 or 6 years ago, there was a porn star named August Ames. She was Canadian, and I thought she was super hot. She hanged herself in a public park. She was Canadian. I thought her real name, she had a porn name already. Her name was Mercedes something or other. And she changed her name. Her stage name was August Ames. She's real cute. And apparently she'd been getting all kinds of like hate online over something she said, and it led her to hang herself out in public. Well, her husband at the time was just this regular looking dude. Some schmo who was putting up with what she does. That's the transaction. I'm married to a porn star. And she's super hot. And once in a while, when she's not too tired or blown out,
right,
she comes home, because that's what they always say. Long as she comes home to me. Yeah, well.
Those guys in the movies don't get kissed the same way I get kissed.
Well,
it's
listen, it is
love.
acting. I mean, as much as people give porn stars a hard time, a lot of them are doing phenomenal acting because they're acting interested. If you were doing that every single day of your life for a living, that's not a long-term plan.
I
What I
find
mean?
it weird. I wonder and again, I grew up in the modern age of streaming porn, so I don't know of any huge porn stars that are like mainstream, to your point, Alan.
Not anymore.
Like, I knew some in the gay world, but I was like, these guys aren't millionaires. Like, they're not riding on private jets and they can just retire from porn. They usually just have to keep it going until they can build a business and do something else.
And guys, they're at a disadvantage from the jump because they make so much less money than women.
You have to do gay porn. You have to be like
a lot of them do.
Pan, or whatever, pansexual.
Pan.
That's what it's called.
I know. I just thought you have to be pan.
Like you
got to be willing to blow the pipes of pan.
And to your credit, you said it was like it's just acting. So if you're okay with just acting like you're gay for pay, then there's no problem. I don't think a lot of the gay porn stars that I'm obsessed with are gay.
I think that's what's funny to me is that people think that because porn stars are having sex that they love it. Like,
no, you can't fake a boner. You
a
can't.
Job, and
it is a job, but I mean, you
might not love it.
Right, but you understand why people might have that thought. I mean, sex is like the thing everybody loves to do.
But only because you're not doing it for work.
Right.
Like, they still, like Cody's point where he's like, these dudes don't even like penis. Like, they are attracted to women, but this is what they do for a living. So they go into work and they do their job. It's not something they're like, oh, I love that. I can't wait to get
Yeah, but
my
that's still a
hands on
different
it.
thing than being a heterosexual actress and pretending you're like having sex. You're still not doing anything different than you're doing at home.
But
when
you
you're gay
are,
for
because
pay,
it's your job. You are
Right.
not doing this for pleasure.
right, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the physical interaction.
Yes,
That's
and-
different than guys pretending to be gay on film and then they go home to their wife or whatever.
But the physical interaction is still not pleasurable if it's work.
Because you think
You
how many
get what I'm
takes you have to
saying?
do.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm just saying it's
I
very...
don't think people understand that porn stars aren't going to work every day. Like,
I'm so horny.
Yeah.
I can't
Well,
wait to
no.
go.
When
that
there's
we feel
when there's
we
four
have
dudes
sex.
surrounding them, women aren't like.
They don't feel like
This
we
is the
feel
best.
when we have
Yeah.
sex.
And
That's
all
not
those
how they feel
and
at
all those dudes are taking Viagra anyway, no matter how,
Right.
because they have to be on.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that coin is there are girls doing it because they really do enjoy it.
Sure, but I don't even know if I buy that. To be honest with you, I don't think you can enjoy sex 8 hours a day. I just
Well, they're not
don't.
doing. I mean, it's not. They're not punching in and out.
the
If you'll
shoots
pardon
are
the pun.
long.
But the
I
shoots,
know-
it's not. They don't make that
It's a full
15-minute
day.
video in 15 minutes.
Right.
It's like a 12-hour shooting because, pardon the pun, but like they got to do several different takes, several different angles. The lighting may be bad on one. Think about if you like, oh, I don't like your face in that one. Do the whole scene again.
Alan Cox
Sorry,
Show.
I bumped something there.
No, you're fine. I was done. But like, yeah, think about if you don't like the scene, you have to do it again. That would suck.
A reshoot, if you will.
Yeah, I just think of Orgasmo, and I want to do so many quotes that I can't. Stunt!
Now you're a man. Okay, listen, I'll have Cleveland Auto Show passes for you a little bit later on. That gets going next weekend out at the IX Center. If you want to check it out, want to text me for something, 351